last year. In the lending industry, we were blessed to have this refinance boom, right? I don't think that's going to be there all year, right? So it was about 42% of our deals came from either refinances or past clients buying a new home, right? I don't think if I'm going to replicate this year, next year, that is all going to be there. So what other areas am I going to go look to for our business? With us, it was new construction and going after more builder business. So we're going to focus more on marketing towards builders, calling upon builders, stopping at new construction developments, establishing relationship with those sales agents. So that's just one kind of idea that came from us doing our one-page business plan.
Yeah, and everybody's going to have little different things. What are your goals? Where's your vision? Where are you going to go? So number 2. So we have our vision. We have our place and where we want to go. And if you could push it to the next one, Evelyn. We need to put together our marketing calendar. So what are we going to do and how are we going to get there? So what we try and do as a teams, and probably even more importantly as a branch, is we literally print out 12 months calendar, 1 month per, one page per month, and we go through and we plan. The thing is, when you get into the throes of the busy season, you're not going to be thinking about doing a client event, doing some type of a happy hour, doing something that you know you need to do in order to build and grow and continue to keep your business going. But if you can put that together and you can build your calendar out, then it's a lot more work done in the front end, and in the back end, you're not going to cancel it and you're not going to get rid of it. We literally, if I flip right now, here I go, October. So just so you guys know, we're going to give you a little bit of the privy. Mark on your calendars on October 13th, we're going to have a party. So you're invited. On the 25th, we're going to have a lunch and learn, the art of time management. That's in October. We planned this entire year out so that all we need to do is flip the page. All right, what are we doing this month? Let's do it. The problem is, and it's happened to many of us, I'm sure, that if at the end of the day you're saying, okay, here I am, I'm in February now. Gosh, we're so busy. We're supposed to do a lunch and learn this month. We're supposed to do a happy hour this month. I don't have time to plan it. I don't know what day I want to do it. I got to market it. If you don't already have it planned and have the pieces of the puzzle in place, you will never do it. So very quickly, the steps to do that. First and foremost, print out literally a calendar from Google, all 12 months. Number 2, put all of your personal things that you have. If you have spring break with the family, if you're going on vacation, whatever it may be, put those first so you don't schedule over them. Then start putting in the different parties, the different events, the different things that you're planning to do over the course of the year. It makes the year that much more manageable, and you know what you have ahead. It's a huge tool to help with success on your marketing side of things, and your planning ahead is what you want to do.
Hey, Tom, I wanted to call on somebody, my number one agent as far as referrals, and just who I think does amazing with loving on her clients, having great client events. I know she just really stands out to me in this area. Shay, are you on? And Evelyn, if you could unmute Shay.
Yep, I'm on, and I can turn my video on.
Awesome.
What's going on, Shay?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Are you walking on the treadmill right now? It's okay to walk if you'd like.
I'm not. I was making lunch when you called my name, so I furiously ran over to the computer.
So, gosh, I just think we've had a great thing going with the client events that we do together. And I think you've just done such an amazing job to have turnout. If you could give us some tactics that you've done in this area to promote the events, and what you've done and why you just stand out in this area.
Sure. I mean, so, as Tom said, we really do plan our calendar for the whole year in advance. And almost all of our business comes from referrals. So we spend all of our time focusing on our past clients, and so we're always thinking about, what can we do, especially this year, and last year with COVID, to still love on our clients, but do it in a safe manner. So like one of the things that we're doing for Valentine's Day is the week of Valentine's Day, we're dropping off hot chocolate bombs to about 200 of our clients. So we're doing pop buys that week. We're also ordering a big charcuterie board that we're going to have a contest for in February. So we'll have pictures of it online, and anybody who leaves us a review during the month of February can be entered to win this, giant charcuterie board with a whole bunch of alcohol that we're going to drop off at their house, just to say thank you for that. So I think just thinking of what do your clients need. We've had great success in past years dropping off Girl Scout cookies at people's front porch. We did that last year. We did porch photos this past year for all of our clients. So we sent a photographer to their house to do socially distanced porch photos. We always do a Thanksgiving pie giveaway. So coming up with maybe 2 pop buys you can do a year, and then 2 events beyond that, that are safe, socially distanced, for this year. Maybe next year we can go back to some more in-person ones, but that's kind of what we're planning this year, are 2 events, 2 pop buys, and then just lots of random check-ins with our past clients. We text them all the time, even clients who closed 5 years ago, just to check in and see how are they doing, what do they need. And it's always surprising. They almost always write back with something they need. One person over the weekend was getting a dog, and they wanted to know if we had a referral for somebody who could build a fence on their property, so just kind of that personal outreach in addition to the events and the pop buys seem to work really well for us.
What has been some just successes that you've seen from doing these events as far as referrals, and can you kind of track your ROI? And I know this is kind of a loose question, but just some things you can say like, hey, this referral was specifically tied to this event, or this client I met at event. Is there any successes you can leave us with?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly this year, more so than past years. Not that we were doing a better job tracking it, but I found that we got a lot more referrals this year, because I think that people felt so shut in and alone in many ways this year that our events stood out to them even more. And so like after our Thanksgiving pop by event, we just did that in our parking lot. People came up, we handed them a pie basically through their car window, and they went. We had 12 new buyer referrals within the next 10 days just from that event. And those were people we saw at that event, who then reached out to us. So that one was very successful. Our porch photos, people did a lot of posting those on their social media. So I know we got 6 new clients from that one. So that worked really well. So it seems like, especially right now where people are feeling very alone, especially if they're a single person, that it's even more important to do those types of events. So, I can't give you an exact ROI, but we always get new clients after those events.
Yeah. I know from the events we've done together, it's just never random. Like we have this big influx after we do something together. I get calls, you get calls. I think that's awesome. So we'll probably call on you a couple more times, Shay, because you do some great things in these areas. Thanks for sharing.
Sounds good. My pleasure.
Yeah, that was awesome, Shay. And I think what Shay illustrated there is this marketing calendar isn't just necessarily events, right? Events are important, but she talked about pop buys. We also have on there mailings, when mailings are supposed to go out, things of that nature. So really dig deep and really figure out what it is and how you want to do it so that you can see it. And I'm telling you, if you see it on your calendar, when you flip to the next month, you're going to do it because it's on the calendar, as opposed to if it's not there, you won't. You'll push it off. You're too busy. So yeah, thanks for that insight, Shay. That is awesome feedback. So number 3, keep things rolling here. So it kind of corresponds with your marketing calendar. So client events. Obviously, we're in a little bit of a crazy time. Hopefully things are opening up and you can plan for that pop by or that meeting or that visit here this summer or in the fall. But you can do things virtually too. Don't let the events go away just because of COVID or just because of feelings. The reality situation is people are more than ever wanting to socialize. They want to get out there. Reach out to your past clients and get creative, both with our past clients as well as obviously with you, our real estate partners, as well as even just within the branch. We've gotten creative, and I encourage you to do the same for events. Anything from virtual game nights, magicians, getting a bartender to come and create some type of a learning experience. There's so many different things that you can do out there that don't necessarily require you to be in person. Now, at the end of the day, I think client events are much more fun when you actually get to go to locations or when you get to do things. But obviously, we're in different times right now, and hopefully it will open up. But the reality of the situation is, don't let something shut you down. Get creative and find another way to create opportunities to get in front of your clients. like Shay was saying, they are feeling a little more probably shut in right now and don't have the outlets that they normally did. And so it's an amazing opportunity for you to reach out. Whether or not they participate in the event or not is irrelevant. The fact that you've reached out to them and show that you care and want them to be a part of something that's social and getting together is 99% of it.
Tom, I think that's a great point. And just one thing to point out there, it is sometimes about the invite. It is sometimes just about you putting your name in front of your past clients. It might be the trigger that, oh, I forgot to reach out to them because I'm thinking about listing my home, or I want to look at the market to see what's out there to buy. It might just be that invite to the event, whether they come or not, that keeps your name in front of that client. I think these are super duper important. I know what we've done just as a tactic with COVID is we kind of made the fall events that we could do virtually or in person. So just to give you some quick ideas, we've done a virtual magician. He was awesome. We've done a painting tutorial where we have two artists on and they help families, paint a picture of a sea turtle, I think is what we've done. We've done a virtual casino night that a lot of you were at. So those are just some ideas. They're out there. And if you ever need help on what to do, how to do it, your loan officer that invited could certainly help you out. We have a whole system laid out that if we can help you schedule these events, we're here to do that.
Absolutely. So, and get creative with the ideas too, because it's fun. People are looking for things to do. So number 4, let's just not beat around the bush, right? You're not going to have your best year ever if you're not going to prospect. We need to prospect, but you have to have a plan, right? I think the biggest thing is, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to call. Who do I call? Right? You need to prepare. You need to have your lists. So some of the common lists that you need to put together, we've listed them here. Top 50 favorite people, top 50 past clients, your database, maybe some whales that you're chasing, whether that's, I don't know, financial planners or HR reps or builders. Those are all people that have the option, the ability that if you create and build relationships with them, that you're going to be able to create opportunities to get leads, get more business. But if you don't have a plan in place on who to call, you're going to sit there thinking about who to call longer than you're actually calling, and it's not going to be very productive. Now, depending upon that list and where you put it together will dictate when and how often you call them and invite them to things. We have a number of different lists, the top 50 past clients, top 50 VIPs, and I believe the next slide shows you just an example of what those look like. We will provide those, whether that's part of the handouts or whether or not it's part of something that you can get from your loan officer, but it really is an easy guide. We have, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes, different theme days where you literally can just take that list and go down the list, X number of people, just to make sure that you're reaching out to them, touching base, making sure that they feel as though they're important and that you have a plan in place each day when you get up to know what to do and how to call them.
Hey, Tom, you got anyone on that you think does a great job with prospecting?
I have a few that are supposed to, but I don't see, Fred, are you on? Oh, no, we got a great turnout. I appreciate all you guys coming, but I can't see everybody that's here. Oh, Fred? Well,
so I think I have an agent that I'm become close friends with that's very just dedicated to prospecting. His name's Brock. Brock, are you on?
Yeah, right here. Can you hear me all right?
What are some things that you do and some strategies that you can give of just keeping on your prospecting, making your calls every day? How do you prioritize it?
So we start off with trying to just do 60 minutes. Since most people are really good at 0 minutes, we figured 60 minutes is a good thing to start. Just like anything in a New Year's resolution, everybody says, I'm going to work out 7 days a week or do something extravagant when they haven't even done one day. So we try to start off with simplicity of doing it 60 minutes a day. We focus on different themes like you talked about where Tom was saying, because I really like that idea, because on Mondays, we really focus on for sale by owners. We don't try to overwhelm ourselves like, oh, I got to do for sale by owners. I got to do my sphere of influence. I got to do expireds. Like we just keep it very simple. So we do for sale by owners on Mondays. We feel that A lot of people are disappointed because they couldn't sell their house over the weekend. We have a lot of opportunities to say, oh my goodness, you know, like 14 homes in your zip code sold over the weekend. How about yours? Like, what do you think caused your home not to sell? So we break it down on daily type of activities. Tuesdays expireds, Wednesdays is VIPs, Thursdays are reaching out to other agents or vendors who've helped us out or done good things, and Fridays we work on our builders. So we break it down, and it's easier in our brains to be able to just be like, okay, I only have to do this for 60 minutes. These are the only people I have to call. It makes it a lot easier, and then you can go into your follow-up and go through that. But our brains are a lot easier to handle simplicity, and that's what we've done.
So your tactic would be, hey, start off simple, get to at least 1 hour per day. And when do you do that during the day?
So we try to start off our accountability calls at 8. So about 8:15 we role play. So 8:30 to 9:30 is a key time period that we found some success. Some people say start it right at 8 o'clock, you know, and then some people, so to us it's 8:30 to 9:30. Then we follow up from that time period till about 10:30. Our 2 hour time period, but 60 minutes a day has been successful.
That's awesome, buddy. Thank you for sharing. I've just seen a lot of success from you, from scripting, from having your lists. And like Tom kind of said, it's just the discipline and setting the time in your schedule and being consistent in it.
Well, that's a key ingredient. You nailed it. It's funny when school teachers come in, well, we go to kids and teaching, being that my background, like everybody has an agenda. The kids go to this class, the bell rings, they go here. As adults, we feel different, that we can do whatever we want, but we can't. But if you have it in the schedule, role play to calling, from calling to this, it makes, you know, Tom nailed it. Like, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist.
I agree. Thanks for sharing, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Brock. So one more tip, and just things, a lot of times it's really difficult. So I think Brock made a huge, you know, and probably even going into our next set of what to do, but there's a plan, right? You're not going in, okay, what do I do? Who do I call? There's a plan in place, and that in and of itself is half the battle. You know what to do, you know what time to do it, it's scheduled, and it's going to go forward. So one tip, and I'll throw it out there, if you have difficulty calling, so I have a couple agents that I work with, literally they come along to our office once a week and we call together. I promise you that any one of the loan officers on this call would be more than happy to set a time to call. It's a lot easier to bounce back and forth, to make the calls, to hold each other accountable. I promise you, once you get on the phone, it's a lot easier. It's actually picking up the phone and dialing the number that's the hard part. It may sound crazy, but once you make that call and actually start talking to someone, they would love to hear you. So
it's kind of like getting to the gym, right? Once you get to the gym, it's easy to work out. The tough part's getting your butt out of bed, putting your clothes on, and driving to the gym, right?
So you need that accountability. Get a buddy, whether it's one of your LOs that invited you, whether it's another agent that you work with. Literally, you guys have to meet 9 a.m. or 8:15, 8:30, whatever you think works for you or fits to your schedule. Get up, have someone holding you accountable so that you can go volley back and forth, or at least just be in the same place and making the calls.
All right, buddy.
So, got to do it.
Awesome.
The next slide, I believe, is one of those. So this is just one of our lists. Like, again, having the lists makes it that much easier because half the battle is figuring out who to call. Brock made a great point, right? They do FSBOs on Monday. I'm sure they have a list to call. They know what they're going to call, who they're going to call. We like these lists. So, for example, this favorite 50 VIPs, we have their name, their phone number. We don't have to search on our computer for it. Also wanted to make sure we know when their birthday, their anniversary, and hobbies. It makes it a lot easier. If I see Ohio State is Mike's favorite team, that I know, at the beginning of the year, holy smokes, are you excited for the national championship? Man, what do you think is going to happen? It gives you something to talk about. It makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun of a conversation. And give you a little bit of a hint, it also keeps you engaged, and it shows you care because you are keeping track and you're aware of what their things are and what makes them go. So number 5. So again, we couldn't have Brock perfectly, just like Shay did, lead into this. So Brock talked about the schedule and who to call. We like to keep schedules. Same. Every week we have on each day of the week the same group of people. Not necessarily the same people, but the same group. So we've put together an example that we like to stick by, at least for agents. You can do with what you want as long as you have it, but we have Mondays where you call your top 50 favorite people. These are going to be fun calls. You're going to get to see how they're doing, see how their new year has started, see what's going on in their life. But every Monday, you've got a list of 12 that you're going to call and reach out to. Tuesday, status update, right? You just had all these open houses. Guess what? Anyone who's listing their house wants to know what the feedback is, where it's going to go. If you make it a habit that every single Tuesday from 10 to noon or 10 to 11, if you want to do 60 minutes, I promise you, listing, seller, I will call you to give you an update with what happened over the weekend, what I'm seeing in the market, where things are at. It's going to bring the level of anxiety and fear down in your clients. They're going to look forward to that call. Wednesday, go back through the leads. How far back do you need to go? At least I'd say over the course of 6 months, right? Somebody 6 months ago may have been referred to you and they weren't ready then. If you haven't closed them yet, keep them on your Rolodex. Make sure you're calling them. See what they're doing. I promise you at some point, if they had an interest 6 months ago, they're going to have an interest again. Stay in front of them. Reach out to them. Hey, is there anything I can help you with? Thursday, past clients. So this is one of those habits that you need to get into, right? I think Shay made mention she goes back 5 years. The average person in Chicago moves between every 3 to 5 years. Nationally, it's 5 to 7. So if you're staying in touch with them over the course of 5 years, just rotate through, you're going to know when they're looking to move. You're going to maintain that relationship. We use a little tip, right? So there's 52 weeks in the year, 26 letters in the alphabet. Every week, it's a different letter. You will at least reach out to them twice a year, right? Little tip for the trade. So here we are at the beginning of the year. So we're on D's this month, right? A, B, C, D, fourth week of the year. Go through all the D's. They should be on your call list for Thursdays. And then Friday, this is when you need to go to work right before the weekend, right? This is going to be a little more of the cold calling, maybe not as fun a call, but this is where you're going to get that business and continue to create new opportunities. Business people, financial planners, HR reps, CPAs, builders. If you can call 10 every Friday, just these lists of 5 different days, 5 different themes is your plan, and you have a list to call, I promise you, you will always have business. You will always create it. So, Chad, do you have someone that's really good at their theme days?
No, I think Brock hit the nail on the head. I would just say, especially the status calls, guys, when you set that up with the client, we have a rule on my team, he or she who calls first wins. So if you're reaching out and providing proactive updates and communication, then your client shouldn't have to check in with you to see what's going on. They shouldn't have to be emailing you every 10 seconds, right? It's when that proactive communication isn't made, then people panic. So if you set those expectations from the beginning, I've just found we have to, just like you all, we have to deal with a lot of entities in the loan transaction, the appraiser, the homeowner's insurance provider, both realtors, in some markets, 2 attorneys, if they're in a condo, homeowners association. So we have a lot of parties behind the scenes that we have to communicate with. If we don't set up that proactive communication that we're going to be reaching out to them on Tuesday, we just get bombarded by requests. So it's super duper important in our business on the lending side. And I know you guys have a lot to manage too. I think it's super important in what y'all do as well.
I think it also shows dependability, right? If you tell someone you're going to do something and you do that throughout the entire process, every single Tuesday you reach out, you are dependable. It only goes to build your credibility, in terms of a professional in your industry. Sets you apart from everybody because nobody does it.
Yeah, Shay had a great thing. She said she texts her clients every Monday and Friday an update. So she does it twice a week, right? Which she does a lot of business. That's awesome. So they expect that every Monday and Friday. What's number 6, Tom?
Number 6 is working on your scripts. So this, at the end of the day, is so important. Know what you're going to say to who. So when you're talking to your past clients or when you're talking to your VIPs, you're talking about family, you're talking about your occupation, recreation, dreams, the Ford conversation, which I'm sure you've all heard us talk about before, right? It's a little more personal. When you're calling on the VIP or when you're calling on the cold calls or maybe referrals, make sure you have your script for that. We put on here a couple of things: triangle of trust, bridging the communication between where they were referred so that they have that trust, right? If I'm referred by Chad to one of you, then I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, Brock, Tom Merritt over at Summit Funding, so great to see you. I got your name from Chad, right? He knows Chad right away. He's going to feel it. Then I'm going to ask him how he knows it. Bridge and create the triangle of trust. Make sure you make that connection. How do they know Chad? They had a good experience. Do you trust them? Well, Chad trusts me, you can trust me. Make sure you have that bridge of that communication. Different types of closes, again, depending upon who it is that you're trying to talk. But at the end of the day, the one thing I wanted to say is that you're always calling for a purpose, right? You want to give them some information. You want to invite them to something. Or you want to catch up and make sure that you're continuing to maintain that relationship, right? So at the end of the day, make sure you have a purpose, and depending upon who it is, make sure you have a script and you know it. Brock talked earlier about role playing. It is a great way to perfect it. Everyone is afraid to do it and gets embarrassed, but at the end of the day, when you get live on that phone, if you stutter over your words and you don't know what to say, you don't sound professional. You need to make sure that you have it in line, you're ready to go, and you can overcome objections or placate and go along with that conversation.
Can I add one thing to that role play?
Absolutely.
One of the things a lot of people ask me is how many times a day they need to do it. And when I was practicing and doing this on our team, they should be doing it a minimal of 3 times a day, so people can get a sense of measurable of what it looks like. So we do it 3 times a day. It should be about 8 to 10 minutes each session. So it's not like you're supposed to be on the phone for an hour. And when I was really, really trying to do it and try to be very good at this, I was doing it 17 to 20 times a day of role playing. And I think your purpose is so important, what you said, Tom, that if you want to be really good at something, you just got to keep doing it over and over and over again. So objections and all these conversations just seem like normal conversations, and people are like, you're so good at it. I'm like, well, I've been doing it for so many years, so many times a day, but a minimum, you should be doing it at least 2 to 3. And to be really good at it, you should be doing it like 5 times a day. So for those that are trying to factor in their calendar, that's a time period that you really should be looking at.
That's awesome. Thanks, Brock.
Yeah, great advice. Absolutely. So, and then again, you're going to mess up. You're going to have issues. It's okay. Move on. Keep going. Don't let it stop you from doing it. The more practice you do, the better you come at it, and it just rolls off your tongue. So with these phone scripts, it's going to lead to number 7. At the end of the day, 90% of every call I make is to try and create an opportunity to get face-to-face or get together. Doesn't matter who it is. Obviously, COVID has changed things a little bit. Now my face-to-face is a little more like this. Normally, we'd be having this at Harry Carey's or some other location where we could all get together and break bread together. But the reality of the situation is I am always wanting to make sure that we're getting together face-to-face. Why? Because face-to-face is where things happen. It builds trust. It allows you to actually read and react, facial cues, tone. One of the stats, and we put it on here because it's so true, 75% of clients will work with the first person that they meet. So we are relationship based. That is how we run our business. That's what we believe in. That's what we purport to you. To build a relationship, to grow a relationship, you need to make sure that you are face to face, that you're able to proverbially shake hands and kiss babies. So long and the short of it, anything and everything you can do face to face is only going to build your reputation in terms of really building those relationships at the end of the day.
Hey Shay, could you kind of come back on real quick and just talk about what you do face to face? I know you've done listing presentations over Zoom. You've definitely done the buyer consult. Where have you seen some successes this year in getting face to face?
Yeah, we're doing everything via Zoom now. So we use Calendly to do all of our scheduling. And what I love about that is that you can have a link on there where people can choose if they want the conversation to be over phone or Zoom, and it hooks up with your Zoom. So if they choose Zoom, it will automatically send them the Zoom link and a Zoom invitation and stuff. So anytime we have a referral for a new client, we try to do the meeting with them via Zoom. So whether that's a buyer or a seller, we're doing it that way. If we have to do a contract, if we're writing up a contract for a client, we set up a Zoom call to go over the contract. I share it on my screen so we can go through it paragraph by paragraph. I can answer their questions. Anytime we're doing inspection negotiations where we're talking to our client about what do they want to ask for or how do they want to respond, we're hopping on Zoom to do that. So basically any conversation we would have had in the past via phone, we're now doing on Zoom so that we can get that face-to-face interaction with them as much as possible, since we're not getting as much of that at showings and stuff anymore, because of COVID. So any opportunity we have to use Zoom, we are. And I would highly recommend everyone get the paid version so you don't time out after 40 minutes, because that just looks crappy when it's counting down in the quarter and your clients feel like they have to talk really quickly to finish. So, we're using Zoom. We're probably on it several hours a day.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I know you've done a great job. Shay and I have talked about hey, the best lead conversion is face-to-face like this. I don't think this is ever changing. I don't know if people are going to come into office anymore. I think everyone's going to want to jump on Zoom, meet the person they're working with, and it's become so easy. Why not just get them face-to-face and jump on a video conference to introduce yourself and your process? Mr. Black, let's hear the next 7.
All right, nice work, Tom. It's good information there. Hope you guys all took a couple of nuggets out of that. I'm going to pick up and talk about number 8. Number 8 that we think is super important is to be dialed in on your presentation. Have a really good buyer presentation, have a really good listing presentation. This single-handedly, between that face-to-face interaction and that having a tight presentation, changed this landscape of my business forever. So I have anything from an interview form. I interview my clients when I meet with them face to face. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I want to make sure I know what their goals are. I think that it's super imperative to have that dialed in. If you guys need some good buyer presentations or listing presentations, we have access to those, and we can share some of our resources with you. But that is key, having a good presentation. And I'm not talking about reading from slides. I'm talking about interviewing, making sure you understand the client's needs and wants. That's really what it's all about. And like we said earlier, being in a relationship with the client, the only way you're going to find out more about that client, more what they really want and need, is by having that professional presentation really tight.
Mike, I've noticed a big change in your business from your presentation. I think sometimes we talk numbers and the numbers are in our head, but communicating numbers and trends to people, it can go over their head. So what are some things that you've added in? What are some things, maybe if you got an agent on that does really well in this area? For me, it's been graphs and pictures of market trends and appreciation and what the market's done over the last few years and what interest rates have averaged over 10 years. Not just talking about that, but showing it and showing a chart and showing a picture. I just see so many more people grasp onto it, and I think it may paint you in a more professional environment. So what are just some things that you've done to improve your presentation?
So I 100% of the time stop selling over the phone. If you're selling over the phone, then you're just like everyone else out there, and you got to put yourself in the buyer's shoes. When you're talking about all this over the phone, it goes way over their heads. I'm personally the most visual person you'll ever meet. I need to see things. I'm a numbers guy. I need to look at it in person. So I find that having that consultation set up to where we're actually showing market trends, what to expect, the lows and the highs, giving them a kind of a range to work off of, not being super specific on what they're going to get 6 months down the road, but what could happen. We like to show people the worst case scenarios and the best case scenarios, so that preps them for their search, making sure they can still afford it in that range. So I just think selling over the phone goes way over people's heads, and I'm more of an in-person guy. I actually love Zoom. I do it all. I'm on it all day long. But we also have, anything from, what their finances look like, be it master in that, like, where are you putting your money right now? You don't need to put down 20%. We show them different things of that nature. So I think that's good on the realtor side too, because a lot of buyers have that myth that they need to put 20% down when they're going through all this.
Yeah, I think the key here, Mike, is that we have so much access to information and trends. You guys have it on the MLS, the data. Use those tools as part of your presentation and part of your lead conversion strategy. Really, in the end, a better presentation is a lead conversion tactic. You will convert more of your leads if your presentation's dialed in. What do we got for number 9, buddy?
Number 9 is directing the conversation. So I find a lot of us, including myself in the past, have not asked a lot of good questions. So I think it's important, and that's why I told you I interview my clients to ask a lot of questions. Why? Why do you want to look in this particular neighborhood? Why are you interested in this school district? Why is it so important for you to do it this way, etc.? We ask a ton of questions on why, because if you ask enough questions and you let them just tell you and you listen and you're a very good listener, and you direct the conversations with why questions, then the client will almost sell themselves, right? You're letting them tell you exactly what they need right now and what they weren't maybe getting with a previous relationship with an agent or a lender. So we're very big on asking why. I don't buddy sell with people. I'm not broing out with my clients. That's what I do with my friends, but with my clients, I keep it really professional. I want to know about them. Some of the questions that I ask up front are, where did you grow up, right? When they tell me, how was it growing up in Naperville? You must have had a really good time living there. What did you like about Naperville? What do you like about the city versus being out in Naperville? So I just ask a lot of questions and a lot of why questions so that I direct the conversation and I let the clients tell me. And I take notes the whole time during that meeting, right? So there's nothing wrong with taking really copious notes when you're meeting with somebody and letting them tell you what they really want. Some of the other questions that I think are powerful for you guys to ask are, what is your biggest fear about making your upcoming purchase? I like to squash all the fears with people and get them excited. So that's a good question that I ask. I also ask them, what are the top 3 most important things to you about going through this process? I let the clients tell me that. I want my team to pay attention to that. Sometimes it's rate. Sometimes it's just, I want a lot of communication. So I want to address what their top 3 most important things are. So ask a lot of why questions and a lot of questions in general.
I love that. I think if you ask the right questions, you're really allowing them, I think 2 super important questions. What's your biggest fear about doing this? You can talk them through why it shouldn't be a fear or if it should be a fear. And I think what Mike said, I use the comment, what's the most important thing I do to earn your business? What's the one thing I have to do for us to work together? That way I want to make sure I deliver that throughout the whole process. Mike asked, what's the most 3 important things that you do? So I think finding out what their hot buttons are to get their business is super important. That's awesome, Mike.
Yeah, number 10. So this is just establish rapport no matter what meeting I go to or who I'm working with or who I'm talking to. I always want to be able to have some common ground between them. So Mike's a Ohio State fan. That's something that I would have probably seen on Facebook. I don't use Facebook a whole lot other than to look people up, LinkedIn to look people up. I want to know about my audience before I get there. I just want to find that common connection with people, right? So it helps break down the barriers. It's an icebreaker a lot of times. So I use social media a lot just to look up, interviewees and people that I'm interviewing, business partners, clients. I want to know something that I can bring up during that conversation that'll kind of connect us. It builds out what Tom said earlier, the triangle for trust, right? I want something that gives them a common ground that I believe in. Okay.
Mike, do you got anyone that you think does a really good job with that on social media that just uses that tool to have better rapport with their clients?
On the call today, not necessarily, but yeah, I mean, I have some people that use Instagram quite a bit, and they get a lot of trust and leads, and they're in different groups, and that's how they drive a lot of business that way. But not anyone that I think is on the call today.
Shay does a tremendous job. Shay, you got any social media tactics on building rapport with your clients? I've seen you just do a tremendous job here.
So one, we have a client list in Facebook, so you can create a friend list. And then we put all of our clients in that so that we're just checking that rather than our Facebook wall every day. Lauren Calderoni, who's on my team, actually does a fantastic job on social media. So she posts real estate stuff on her personal page maybe once a week, but she's posting in the stories section constantly for real estate. So every time she goes to a showing, she'll take a quick little 5-second video, or she'll photograph something cool. She'll post that in there. When she goes to an inspection, she'll have the inspector give a 10-second tip. And she'll shoot a video of that and put that in the stories section. So she's probably posting in the stories section 5 to 7 times a day about real estate. So, a picture of her writing a contract, doing a Zoom call with a client, dropping off a pop-by gift, etc. She's only been on my team for about 6 months, and I think she did 15 million in volume last year in that 6-month time period. And it's all coming from social media because she's posting in that story section on Facebook so much. It makes it look like she's incredibly busy, which she is now. And so she's just getting tons of referrals from that. So we're a big fan of the stories section.
That's a tactic you guys should all write down. I just wrote that down. I do not do that. That's a game changer right there. That's awesome stuff.
Lauren's amazing, by the way. Lauren's amazing. I see her stuff all the time. So what are we on? 11. So 11, this is just what we look at as the perfect model for a realtor. Top 25 past clients should be 25% of your business. Your sphere should be 25% of your business. Your database should be 25% of your business, and your business people should be 25% of your business. So I think the point behind showing you this is to get organized and be leveled out with where your business is coming from. Develop a 300 to 400 people farm list. I send a lot of videos out to my past clients in my database. We send mailers out to them. I think we'll talk about it in an upcoming slide on letters of the hearts and evidence of success, but top 25 past clients, I would be loving on these people at least once a week. I'd be getting a face-to-face meeting with them once a week. Same with your sphere. I'm reaching out to them on a weekly basis. That's why it's important to have your database organized. Like Chad said earlier, most of my business in 2020, or at least half of my business, came from past clients. And that was just from making phone calls to them, right? Also from your sphere, you can get business people out of it. You can find out who their CPAs are. Do they like their CPAs? Cool, would you mind making an intro? I'm looking for a couple of good CPAs this upcoming year to work with. Same with financial advisors. Those have been a really good stream for me in business, is working with my financial advisors. So leverage the people in your database to meet other people. That's what I usually do. I usually find out, is there a good CPA that you work with? Or is there someone else like you that I can meet? I'm always asking questions like that to my database on my calls with them on a weekly basis. Another tactic that I use on my calls to my database is I always have something that I know I'm going to be calling them about, whether it's maybe they send me a client, I got to update them on a pre-approval. That's one quadrant I have hanging up at my desk. Maybe it's a lead they gave me just to update them on the lead. Maybe it's something new that came out on the guidelines, or the new Fannie Mae loan limit went up to 548. Or also my fourth quadrant I look at is I'm going to invite them to a party or a happy hour or something I'm having. So I always have this box sitting up at my desk that I can share with you guys. And I always know what my purpose of my call is before I'm calling.
That's awesome, Mike. And if I could just add in something there, I've noticed a lot of newer agents on a mistake I see made a lot as they get to that 5 to 10 million in production, and they don't establish these other areas, right? They don't work with the CPAs and the financial advisors and the divorced attorneys and the new construction sales rep that needs you to list their place to get into their model, right? I just see them tap out on their sphere, and there's only so many people and there's only so far that your network can go, and that's great to use that, and you should go all in in on that when you're first starting, but make sure you develop other pillars of business like the financial advisors. If you get a great financial advisor that talks to their client and recommends you as their realtor, they don't give out 3 realtors, right? They give out 1 realtor, and they can just pour into your business and be a channel account, which we define as 10, 11, 12 deals per year. So make sure you're working with those business professionals. And like Mike said, there's no better place to start than to get introductions from the clients you're working with, whether it be a rental, whether it be a first-time home buyer. They have professionals they're already working with. Make sure that you get the opportunity through the transaction to connect with them.
Yep, absolutely. Number 12, keep communicating. We talked about the letter of the heart. Letter of the heart is a letter that you send out to your sphere, your 400-person database. It just brings you down. It's talking about sharing some pain. I had a son 2 months ago. I've got a letter of the heart I've already written about my son and what it's like being a dad. My first one. That brings me down to a real level, what I've learned from it. So you share some pain. In the second paragraph, you talk about something you've learned from that pain or it's that success. And then it's just a quick ask for business at the end. It just takes Mike, the lender, out of the picture and brings me down to Mike, the real guy. And people love getting those in the mail. Sometimes they don't, I don't know, but I think the most of our sphere, the most of our people that we send this out to love it. I think Chad could probably share a good success story on his letter of the heart that he sent out in the fall.
Yeah, I sent one out and we had 38 referrals from it that we directly tagged to that letter of the heart. So, that's 38 closed deals. It was just tremendous. That was my best one yet. So it feels weird to be vulnerable and share pain. Like I get a lot of Christmas cards and they're the brag letter, like Billy and Susie are 4.0s and they're going to this school. Like I like the sharing of pain of Mike not getting any sleep because he's got a newborn and what it's like, and not having a kid for 41, 42 years and being a longtime bachelor to now having a kid. Like those are stories people relate to, and I think it makes you more than just a professional. They then relate to you.
Yeah, evidence of success. That's just something that you did good. Client reviews are good to send out for that. And then like Tom said earlier, if you just call one letter of the alphabet a week, if you're trying to find out how to organize my database, call the A's one week, the B's the next week, the C's the next week. If you just do that starting in week 1 in January, you'll touch everybody 2 times a year. So that's a good tactic to use on calling your database and just keeping in touch with people. And I think the key is be real, be interested, talk to them, find out if they've done any work to their house, etc. But don't be afraid at the end of that conversation to ask, did I do a really good job for you? If the answer is yes, then would you use us again? If the answer is yes, can I ask you for a huge favor? I'm sure, Mike, what's the favor? I'm just looking to meet more good people like yourself. I really love working with you guys. Is it too much to ask to make one good intro to me this upcoming year? Just one good intro. They could be selling in a year or two. I just like meeting more good people like you, and I love good intros for my clients. I get a lot of intros just from asking that question. So.
That's awesome. That's key for everybody to write down. Did I do a good job? Can I ask you a favor? Would you use us again? Will you introduce me to one client over the next year? Right? Like I use you all in that too. Like if I'm working with Shay all the time at the end of the deal, did I do a good job? Did Shay's team do a good job? Would you use us both again? Can I ask you for one favor? Shay might not ask herself, but I'll ask for her. Can you look for one client for her over the next year? I know I'm going to get that business back because Shay refers us a lot. So just helping out your partners, creating more referrals for the whole team, the insurance provider, the attorney. If we're all asking these questions, we're all just going to generate more referrals for each other. That's really good.
I think another key component on that is asking how you can help them out as well. Like when you're relationship based, you're asking how you can help a lot. You want to help other people with their business. You want to help them with problems that they may be having. You're transactional. You're just asking how they can help you. So make sure you're bouncing that back onto them as well and making sure you're looking out for them and their families and their business as well.
That's awesome. Hey, I wanted to make a courtesy. I'm glad we're not in person right now because we are going to go over our hour time limit. So we will not take offense if you jump off. We understand. That's why we love these Zoom calls. But if you want to stay on, we're going to finish all 21 of these out.
All right, number 13, we'll skip over. That's an example of a letter of the heart you guys see on there about one that was written. Number 13, this is just, if you're looking for things to say while you're on these calls, just keep it simple. Ford is family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It's Ford scripting. All you got to do is ask questions around this stuff. People will talk to you all day long about it. And I think Tom touched on it earlier, but these are just things we talk to people about. How's work going? How's your family doing? Have you guys done any work to the house? I love the question when I'm on the call with my clients, do you guys plan to buy or sell any real estate this upcoming year? Or are you planning on doing any home improvements this upcoming year? It's always the lead in to whether you might have an opportunity there to help them out. But I'm always asking questions like that, or if they need help with planning any work done on their house at all.
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. Hey, what's the project you need to do on your home? Sometimes, guys, I think we underestimate our networks, and you guys are the Mac Daddy of referral partners. Like, you guys know painters, you know contractors, you have more people in your network than any other profession that I can think of. Never underestimate your power of being able to refer great people and looking out for those opportunities for your landscaper, for your painter, for your pool guy, whoever it may be, you can then obligate them to send some business back when you're creating opportunities. And you're also doing a great job where your client will think of you in the future like, hey, I need an electrician, I better call Brock, right? Hey, I need a landscaper, I better call Shay because she hooked me up with a great CPA. She's probably got somebody here. You want to be that person that they think of for anything. Right? That's really, really good. Guys, if you have to go and you want this presentation, you want some of these materials, just enter in your email in the chat and we'll make sure that Evelyn gets them to you. Ford, if you take nothing else away, this is how you create a referral-based business. Know their family. When I can call and talk to Mike about his son, Jet, instead of saying, how's the baby, right? When I can call Brock and say, how's your daughter, Brielle, instead of saying, how's your daughter? Right? When people call me and say, how are Nora, Coco, and Parker doing? How's Kristen? If they want to sell me something at that point and they remember my family, it's over. They could probably sell me anything they want, right? It's having that relationship with your clients. It's super duper important. What we got for 14, Blackie?
14 is track everything. This single-handedly changed the course of my business when I started tracking everything. So this is our greatness tracker. For those of you that are new, I highly advise you start using a greatness tracker. It is powerful. I'm the type of person that when I get to the end of my week, if I don't know what I did or I can't see my results, I start, it gives me a lot of anxiety. So I track my work that I do all week long. The way that it looks for me on a weekly basis is a minimum of 15 face-to-faces. You can see in this example, this is a greatness tracker. This one's for lenders. We got one for realtors as well. We can send out to you all, but it's predominantly the same. 15 face-to-faces, 5 break breads, which has been tough in COVID, but I have coffee sometimes on Zoom with people. 60 good talk-tos on a weekly basis about real estate. So that they're different people. It's not the same person. It's 60 different people a week that I'm required to talk to or that I make myself talk to on a weekly basis. 1 or 2 events that I attend, 250 videos that you touched, 250 people with a video. So I send 3 videos out a week that touch over 1,000 people. Thank you cards, 10 thank you cards a week. It blows my mind sometimes where you get a lead from somebody and you don't write a thank you card back. Handwritten thank you cards are the way to go to thank people for the business. And then how many listings and how many buy sides did you get along with leads that week? So tracking your information is paramount. If you're brand new to business, start doing it early on. It's a good habit to form. And I can promise you, this simple form that we're showing you on here has made a lot of people a lot of money. So it's a very simple tactic. It's a grid, but I'm telling you, if you track your business, it will change and it will change quickly.
We'll send you a blank one. As we told you at the beginning, Tom's a coach in the core training. I'm a coach in the core training. Mike's a coach in training within our program. We call this the millionaire form, and we call it the millionaire form because we've never seen anyone fill it out every single week for 5 years and not be a millionaire. So if you want to know how to make $1 million a year as a realtor, fill this out every single week for 5 years, and we've never seen someone not achieve that $1 million status. So we call it the millionaire form. It might sound a little like brash or too direct of like, hey, you make a lot of money, but it's the truth. You could, if you have this type of activity, I don't even think you need to be that great a salesperson. So this is the key form of everything we're giving you. What do we got for 15, Mikey?
So 15, comparable to what I just went over, the lead tracker. So if you want to take one simple nugget away from this today, track all of your leads, every single one of them. We color code ours. Like green for me means they're good to go. They're pre-approved. They're moving forward. Yellow means we're still chasing them down. Red means that they don't qualify or they've gone somewhere else. So there's a couple of reasons why this form's important. One is it keeps you organized. Leads are gold, right? So you don't want to overlook leads that are sent to you. You want to take extra special care of them for your referral partners. And in order to be able to do that, you have to know, where your leads are at all the time. Kind of like a boxing match, right? You follow up with the lead, follow up with your referral partner, let them know what's going on. You can't get a hold of them. We track this on how many calls we make to each lead. I call it a lead 7 times before if I can't get a hold of them, before I give up and say, hey, referral partner, I can't get a hold of this person. I've been trying. I know I've been keeping you updated. But this tactic and just tracking your leads, it doesn't have to be in a big CRM. This is an Excel spreadsheet that we use, and it's just straight down the line, old school. I got all my leads in there. It's with me at all points in time, and I know where my clients are at during the process. So that was a game changer along with the greatness tracker in my business.
Shay, are you still on?
Yep, I'm here.
What do you use to track your leads? I know you're a little more technical than our Excel spreadsheet. So for those that don't want to use our Excel spreadsheet, what do you use to count how many times you've reached out to someone, to leave your notes?
So we use a CRM called RealVolve. So we keep track of everything in there. So there's a file for each person, and then we can set reminders. So we'll have reminders that we should reach out to this person, once a quarter, every 6 months, whatever. And we can also put in there like the names of their children, and if so-and-so had surgery, a reminder. Like I just had one the other day where a client was having a biopsy. So we put a note in there. So I got a reminder to reach out to them. So we really like a CRM for all of that. And we can tag people, prospective client, prospective buyer, prospective seller, et cetera. So that we can just go through those whole categories when we want to reach out to people.
And who keeps you accountable to making sure you do those follow-ups? Is that just your own discipline?
Yeah, I get an email every morning of everybody I'm supposed to follow up with from our CRM. And so I just go through it and follow up with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, and we need a CRM too. And guys, it's just a tool that keeps you in great relationship. I use Salesforce. It helps me keep track of client birthdays. It's shocking to me when I get a client, I call them on their birthday, they'll say, you're the only person that called me today for my birthday. That's shocking to me, right? So you want to have instant relationship with people, love on them on their birthday. We send a video, we send a just call, and those are the things that we do. So Mikey, you are one of the best I've ever seen at tracking. Those were awesome tactics. I'm going to take it away. And guys, sorry this went over, but I've loved the interactiveness on it. And if you have any comments, keep typing in the chat. We'll get to them at the end, and we'll give you some time for some Q&A at the end. Birthday cards with a lottery ticket are fun to send too. I agree, Shay. So we send a thank you card on our leads, and we send a sugar wish so they can pick a candy that they want to send to themselves, or a lottery card. So when we get a current client referral or a past client referral, a thank you card with a sugar wish, that's just a virtual thing where they can pick out some candy or a treat to be sent to themselves, and or a lottery ticket. So I think that's great as well. Number 16, Evelyn. So time blocking. Respect your time, respect your prospecting. So I love, like, the more I read about Michael Phelps, the more I'm just in awe of what he accomplished and what he did. And I love how he talks about visualization. So for our loan officers, I have a monthly coaching guest. And the last 3 people I've had on are all loan officers or realtors that net over $5 million a year. And the one thing I took away from all of them, I mean, $5 million a year is a lot of money. They all share that in common. They all said they take at least a half hour to 45 minutes at the beginning of the day to visualize their day. And they don't visualize what will go well. They visualize what could go wrong. So I love that Michael Phelps used to talk about thinking about a swimmer coming in his lane, or a swimmer that he didn't expect to compete ahead of him in the race and how he would respond. He thought about everything that could go wrong in the day and visualized what that was. So I think it's super important to have a printed calendar, not on your computer. I don't know about you, but if mine's on my phone and I go into that black hole, I'm going to end up on Facebook. I'm going to end up in my E-Trade account to see how my stocks are doing. Or during the baseball season, I might even end up on Cubs.com to see how the Cubs are doing, right? It is not the place I want to go to keep me time blocked. I need one printed out on my desk every single day. So I've taken that a step further, and I have alarms on my phone, and I set them at the beginning of the day 2 minutes before I have to get on to the next thing. So if I have someone in 2 minutes for a home buying consultation, my alarm would be going off right now. So I know I have to wrap up what I'm on. So a printed calendar of your day. Now the green time is money-making times. I also use this. This is a chess timer. You can see it's rolling. I've had 4 hours of money-making activity already today. I truly track every single second that I am in money-making activities, right? Email's not money-making activities. Texting's not money-making activities. You heard Mike say he does not sell on the phone. You heard Shay say, hey, all of my initial buyer meetings are face-to-face in front of the client. Prospecting's a money-making activity. Doing a listing presentation is a money-making activity. Doing a buyer consultation is a money-making activity. Showing property. Scheduling, all that is not. So try and spend at least half of your day in green time. That's money-making activities. And I put 10 to 12 hours of prospecting, that should say per week, not daily. That would be a lot if you did that every day. That is not sustainable. Next slide, please. Red time is like things you have to do. I have to do some meetings. I got to get with my team in the morning. I got to let them know what files to prioritize. I got to let them know some clients that need some love. I need to help my team plan out the day. We have a whole branch at Summit Funding. We have meetings there of policies, procedures, guideline changes, program changes, what the interest rates are doing, rate lock policies. Those meetings are necessary, but they're red time. They're not making me any money by sitting in a meeting, right? My money's made just like yours, out client facing or referral partner facing. So make sure that that's blocked off. The rule is this: on my team, if you have an assistant, green time cannot be scheduled over. Okay. Red time, you can check with me if you have some green time to schedule over it. So it is check with Chad to see if he can miss the meeting. And yellow time is probably something like this. I hope we gave you some tactics today to make some money, but I know some of you said, I even saw it in the chat, hey, I have a listing to go out to. Chad, I got to go do some green time, right? I understand that, and those things should be yellow. Optional things are yellow. That allows the person that runs your calendar to schedule over. Now, if you don't have someone to set your calendar for you, do it yourself and start that hour at the beginning of the day to visualize your day. Visualize that listing presentation. Role play like Brock said. Imagine getting that client. Also imagine their objections and how you're going to rebut them. Those are just great things to help visualize and plan your day. And make sure you're doing that at the beginning of the day. All those big time earners that we've had on over the last 3 months, they all said that. It was the one thing I found in common with all of them, that they spend at least, one of them was a half hour. My girl Jane down in Florida, she takes 2 hours every morning to take care of herself, be in her Bible, write her gratitude journal, look at her schedule, get her mind right to win the day. She takes 2 hours every day to get that. So that might be a workout for you. That might be a cup of coffee. That might be reading a book, but have that time to visualize your day. Go ahead, next slide. Printed schedule, like I said, out and in front of you. I'm going to send you guys that all put in the comment section a perfect work week, okay? And Tom said this at the beginning. Put your personal items in first. So when we started our marketing calendar, my family vacations were on there. And yes, I'm taking a lot of vacations in the late summer and early fall. If I don't have a vaccine by then, I guess I'm just going out traveling, because we set all of our vacation. 2021 is about having more fun for me, because I did not have a lot of fun last year besides in my house, right? So we're traveling a lot. All that stuff went in. I have 3 daughters. Those activities go in first. So do your perfect work week, but start with your personal time, then build on the green time, the money-making activities, right? You can have, I know you guys have a lot thrown at you during the day, but you tell your clients your schedule. You tell them I can show properties between 2 and 7 p.m., right? When you ask them when they're available, that puts them in control. When you say, this is my schedule, this time, and this time. I think people want to work with professionals that set the tone. You don't go into a good doctor just when you feel like it. You go in at their schedule. So make sure that you have that perfect work week, and the more habits and just likeness in your day you can have, the better your days are going to be and the more efficient when they all look alike.
And one thing to add to that, Chad, that I saw, and if you notice your schedule, which is a great schedule, is that there's no spaces, there's no open time, right? Book the day complete, because if you have open time, then it's free time and you won't do anything.
Yeah, and if I can help any of you, like Carrie, my assistant, she is just the best assistant I've ever had at keeping me on track. I'm seriously to the point where I don't even get the client on the phone. She gets them on, she chases, she makes sure they're available, and she transfers me in. She gets the client on the Zoom meetings and confirms with them. It's not me. So it just makes so much great usage of my day. I have very little white space in my day, which is free time, right? And what do they say? Idle hands are hand of the devil. I need no white space in my day. I do not need any devil in my life. I need to be very busy to keep myself out of trouble. So a busy schedule does that. Go ahead, Evelyn, next slide. Do your guys' budget, and we'll have a lunch and learn just on this topic. This is my expertise. I love helping people save money. I love helping people invest. I've given this success story, and I don't tell this to brag or impress you. Last year, I had my best income year ever by far. It was up 53%. The money I made in the stock market was 75% of that number. And I don't mean like the money I made in the stock market was 75% of my income, right? And my income year was my best year ever in income. And it was just a ridiculous year. But when you get your money growing and you've had it in the stock market like I have for 12, 13 years, the compounding growth you can have is just incredible. You can't maximize every penny of your finances going into the stock market and having that compounding growth without making sure you're tracking the money. So just like Mike Black told you to track your leads and to track your follow-up, and Shay says she tracks her follow-up through a CRM, I'm telling you to track your money. It's crazy that we work, some of us 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and we don't take an hour a month to be strategic about the money we made. Make sure our bills are paid right. Make sure we're sending enough and keeping enough back for the IRS. Making sure our financial advisor is getting a check from us every month. So if I can help you in any way, it's why I'm a coach in the core. I excel at the personal family budget and investing. I would love to help any of you out with it. It has truly changed my life. If you know my story, I was $200,000 in debt when I first started a budget and I first got into coaching. And I've been blessed to turn into a multimillionaire through investing in the stock market. And I don't say that to brag or impress you. I promise you there was no one in a worse situation on this call than I was in 12 years ago. So the good news is when you track it and when you're strategic about it and you look at it every single month, it can create amazing things. And part of that was giving money away to charity. We gave away $125,000 to charity last year. We would never be able to do that without tracking our finances every single month. So if we can help you in any way, we'll have a separate lunch and learn on this. We would love to help you out with it. And these are the areas we believe that you should be invested in. So we'll send you this slide for the sake of time. 3 times your annual income of being in real estate, have liquid reserves, be maxed out. You guys have a self-employed pension plan. I believe it's $55,000 now you can put towards it, and then get into the stock market, right? And if we can help you in any ways in this, we do go through this with many of your clients. We talk to them about having a cash position. My line for clients when you send them to us is, hey, I'm getting you into mortgage debt. I want to make sure this mortgage doesn't get you into credit card debt. This is the only debt I'm letting you get into to buy this home. So we want to make sure you have proper reserves. Hey, maybe you should put 10% down instead of 20 so you have a reserve account. Maybe you don't need to put every penny down. Sometimes, guys, that's the fear your clients have and you don't even know it. It's that they're taking every penny because they think they have to put every penny they have down to make the home affordable. And sometimes it's just about a professional like those on the call and those loan officers we have in the branch to guide them through structuring their finances correctly. I can promise you, especially with the refinance boom going on, that's what every other loan officer out there is missing and we require in our office. So use the wealth wheel. We will send you a copy. Number 19 is just making sure you are putting money in the stock market. So I gave you a little rule here. If you had $200,000 right now in your 401k or self-employed pension plan, and you maxed out the 401k limit, which is $19,500, that's what W-2 employees can put to, and you got a 10% return per year. People argue with me and say, where are you getting a 10% return? Look at the S&P 500 index. It's averaged 10% over the life of the stock market, right? That goes back to the 1917, I believe, that statistic. So if you don't know where to put your money, just put it all in the S&P 500 index. It's what financial advisors measure themselves off of, and I think it's the best index. So that's where all my 401k dollars are. I have a lot of individual stocks and other investments, but as far as my 401ks and my IRAs, they're all in the S&P 500 index. If you did that for 20 years, you would have $2.58 million at retirement. Now, I believe a great retirement is living off the interest of the money you accumulated. Okay? Living off the interest of the money you accumulate. So in this example, they would have $103,000 of interest to live off of. Now with inflation, that's probably not going to be enough, right? I think you're going to need I'm 43, at my age, I think you're going to need about 4 million there in order to do that, right? To live a comfortable lifestyle in retirement. So just know that the good news is 4 million sounds daunting. Putting $1,600 away per month, if you're not doing it now, start somewhere, right? And these are the areas that I believe money should be invested. So if we can help you in just talking through that or getting teed up with the financial advisors, the good news is they should become referral partners for you as well. Work open houses. David, are you still on? I don't think David's still on. So David and I have had some great success in open houses. I actually featured him at a talk I did for the Core that had about 1,200 people on it. I love open houses. I think with our inventory so low that you have to use that leverage of having listings if you're open to do it right now with COVID going on. I know some people aren't, and I get that, but when things do open up, work the open houses, especially you new agents coming on. Like, I don't go to a car lot to shop around or to look. I go there because I'm interested in buying a flipping car, right? There may be some nosy neighbors, but there are buyers there looking around. So make sure, especially if you're getting into the business and you're within your first 2 years, I would try and work them every single weekend. Make sure to have a sign-in sheet. I like taking a video at the end of the open house and sending it out to all the attendees there. We can send you an example of what that video would look like, and follow up with them the next day. And if they're represented by another realtor, I've found that a lot of the buyers really don't have a realtor. So I know you guys can't say anything about that, but we can as your partners. And I call open house leads all the time, and I find that they don't have an agent that they're tied to. They put it on the call sheet that they did, but they're open to feedback and suggestions, right? So there's no better place to find buyer leads, in my opinion, than open houses. We make all of our new loan officers work them. And I think especially for you that are in your first couple of years, this is the number one thing you have to do to get your business off to a great start. And then just last is take care of yourself. I love some of the things people said on here. I've set a target weight for myself this year. I have a personal trainer. Group fitness, accountability. There are many of us in our office that work out together. Make sure you're getting your sleep. The more regimented you can get, if you see my time blocking, it literally has a time to go to bed, an alarm that goes off. Am I perfect with it all the time? No. But there are many nights where I'd probably stay up. I'm really hooked on the Punisher show on Netflix right now. I'm obsessed with it. I would have binge watched the whole thing and stayed up till 3 a.m. and ruined several days after it if I didn't have the alarm on my phone to go to bed at night, right? So it's just really helped me. I think you can perform at a high level when you take care of yourself at a high level. And having the morning routine, if you're a book reader, The Miracle Morning is an unbelievable book to read about getting your day started off and right and effective. And many of the things we talked about during this presentation are in it. So I know that was a lot, and it's unbelievable that 35 of you are still on. I hope and pray that we gave you at least 3 things today. Don't think that you can do this all. You can't. I promise you, I'm not even doing this all right now. But I promise you there's a ton of things in here we do. And these are just a hodgepodge of things we've took for some of our best realtors like Shay and like Brock. And I saw Ryan Blake on, and just some other great partners that we have. This is a combination of what we see super successful people doing. And I hope you took at least 3 things away today. My ask for you is, if we did a good job today, if I could ask you a favor, if you could introduce us to one realtor that you think could benefit from these presentations. We just want to help you guys grow. We know the business and the relationship comes over time. Tom and I both get paid very handsomely to coach mortgage lenders and some realtors. And we don't want to charge anything to do it. We just want to help your business. We know these things work because they've worked from us, and they work from some of the people that we highlighted today. So if we did at least 2 things today that will help you make more money this year, if you could look for one realtor to introduce us to and a possible shot at your next home buyer, we would forever be grateful. So honor and just help out the people that invited you to today. Our next focus will be on how to navigate the COVID environment and to do some of these virtual meetings. And once again, we'll have some of our top realtors on, and that is when, Tom?
Get off of mute. And according to our marketing calendar, it is on Monday, February 22nd. So we are
Awesome.
ready to go.
So we got it all planned out. Why don't you just, I think you guys can raise your hand. Sorry, we're new to Zoom. But if any of you have questions, if you could raise your hand and then we'll call on you. I think we got Joshua. Can you unmute Joshua, Evelyn? I cannot, no.
Sound's coming in weird, Josh.
We can hear something, but it's not very clear.
Yeah.
Go type it.
Better?
That's better.
This is better? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's way better.
Chad, I noticed on your daily calendar, you had red and green next to each other. Why do you have red and green next to each other on your calendar?
I have it on my calendar sometimes because I have a few people on my team. And if something's green, I'm going to take it. And the red means another member from my team might take it. So there are times we do what's called triple stack, right? We will give 3 appointments at a time. And it's because I have 3 people on my team that can take meetings, right? So I have a team captain that can step in if there's something that I can't be at. I have a very experienced loan partner that can jump into a meeting if I have some conflicting. I'll jump into both then. So yeah, we don't limit our customer interaction by just one time slot. We'll do 3. And that's because we have 3 people that can take meetings.
Got it. Thank you.
Does that help?
It does.
Cool. Any other questions?